Welcome to another video from my channel. In this video I'm going to explain what is my thought process behind upgrading this new item that I just got. I made a previous video a couple hours ago where I spent 48,000 ancient coins and I got quite lucky with the drops, honestly, and these are the Ygdratha pendant that I got. I already had one, so I got in total 2 mythics and 8 legendaries, because as I said, I already had this one. And I also got a few Mirror of the Forgottens. Right now it's filtered on Dragon King set, but these are the 2 main pieces of equipment that I'm going to use as bases. So for this specific piece of equipment, the first thing is to look at all the stats. As you can see, they're pretty much the same. No big differences between primary and secondary attributes. In this item, resistance, power, and mastery are the primary attributes, and vitality, fire damage, and light damage resistance are the secondary attributes. But as you can see, they're pretty much the same. The lowest one for both the primary and overall is the light mastery, but they're pretty much at a good level. However, to compare with the Mirror of the Forgotten, here as you can see the primary attributes, which are armor, vitality, and poison mastery, are very high. However, these secondary attributes, block damage reduction, light damage, and ice damage resistance, are very low. But this is good from the perspective that the primary attributes are the most important ones when it comes to upgrading the item. These are the ones that are going to determine how many copies you need to sacrifice, because the secondary attributes can always be replaced with better ones. Not only better in the type of attribute, but better in the value of the attribute. But that's for the next video. In this video, let's talk about the Ygdratha's pendant. Now, let's bring the calculator here on screen. All right. Now, as I said, the lowest of the primary attributes and all attributes in general is the mastery. So let's calculate what is the mastery value in a percentage so we can work from there. So maximum value is 195 minus the minimum 1, which is 67. This gives us 128, which is the 100%. And then the current value is 167 minus the minimum value, which is 67, gives us a rounded 100. We multiply by 100 and we divide by 128, and we get this 78.125%. Now, as I said, this is the lowest value, so it's the one that is going to determine how many copies we need to sacrifice. Every time we sacrifice a legendary, will increase by 1%. Every time we sacrifice a mythical, will increase by 5%, as long as they have the same element, but changing the element is very cheap, so I'm assuming we're always going to do that. So in order to bring this value up to 100%, as I said, each legendary will increase it by 1, and each mythical will increase it by 5. So if we sacrifice 5 mythical items, it will increase the percentage value by 25%, 5 times 5. 25 plus 78 is more than 100, so it's all that we need. Now, alternatively, we could potentially sacrifice 4 mythicals for 20% and 2 legendaries for an additional 2%. 78 plus 22 will also be 100. However, that is not recommended. And the reason why is that these items that belong to the Dragon King set can be used to be sacrificed to upgrade another Dragon King set item. For example, the Shield of Anthrite, which I'm not currently using, but it's just an example, or the item that I'm actually using, which is the Dragon King axe. That, as you can see, has really low power, but it is what it is. The Dragon King axe can only be obtained as legendary, so it's always extremely expensive. Well, it's the most expensive item to upgrade. That's the reason why, even if 4 mythicals and 2 legendaries could bring this item to maximum quality, it's a total of 6 items versus 5 mythicals. So 5 mythicals is preferred because you're using 1 less item. Yes, it is expensive to upgrade from legendary to mythical, but the fact that these items are so rare, so hard to obtain, makes it better to do it like that, so you can always use these items to maximize everything you have. Now, as I said, this is, let's bring the calculator back on screen. This is a 78%. Now that we have established that we need 5 mythical copies to upgrade it to 100, the values of the secondary attributes that I want to put on this item need to be at least 75%. We are going to upgrade by 25%, so it doesn't matter if the attributes that we bring are at 78 or 77 or 76 or 75, as long as they are 75 or higher. If they were, let's say, 74%, that will require an additional piece of equipment to sacrifice to get it to 100, because it's 25 plus 75, that's 100. If it's 74 plus 25, it's only 99. So we will fall short. Now, in order to calculate, because the values I want to use here are, the attributes are ice damage, experience bonus, and melee resistance. All 3 of those attributes are expressed in a percentage from 0.5 to 11%. So what we want to calculate here is each point is 5.25, well, actually 0.525. If we multiply by 15, because we are going up to 75%, excuse me, times 15, it gives us 7.875, and then we have to add 0.5, which is the minimum value, plus 0.5, and it gives us 8.375. Any attribute that is at 8.375 or higher is going to give us that 75%, which again means we only need to sacrifice 5 items. Now, okay, great. Yeah, restart the game. The game doesn't like when you record videos, so it's okay. If you're not fighting, the game considers that you're idle, even if you're doing things. But okay, no problem, we're back. So, going back to the item, now that we have established how many copies we need to sacrifice and what are the value of the secondary attributes that we need, so we don't screw ourselves. From these 3 attributes that we have, vitality, fire damage, and light damage resistance, because they have good values, what I'm going to do is to reforge or re-roll this and get at least one of the 3 that I want, which, as I said, are ice damage, experience bonus, and what are you right here? Is this the one? Yes. And melee resistance. So let's reforge. I have a lot of ore and gems to spare. So let's see, how many reforges do we need? Okay, fire damage, light damage resistance, ice damage resistance. Nope. Second attempt. Critical hit chance, dark damage resistance, elite damage. No. Third time's a charm, maybe. Fire damage, dark damage resistance, dark starting mana. Nope. Fourth attempt. Elite damage, fire starting mana, vitality. No. Number 5. Elite damage, light damage resistance, vitality. No. Number 6. Elite damage, vitality, light damage. Yeah, close enough. Number 7. Poison damage, fire starting mana, block chance bonus. Number 8. As you can see, this is expensive. And no. Number 9. This is getting into the ridiculous. Okay, melee resistance. Okay, we got 1. Great. All right, now I'm going to also change the color because we are not going to re-roll it any further. So let's refine and make it blue. Oh well, wait, because I'm going to hone it first. Now, this is something I explained before in another video, but when it comes to honing, let me go back to the gear. I can explain it better if we go here. Okay, so when it comes to honing an item, as you can see, I have lots of flame tree relics. This is one of the 3 relics that you can farm. So basically honing this item is free. However, what's not free are the the mythic runes. So this is something that you may want to do if you have a lot of mythic runes of one color and not a lot of another one. For example, for this one, I have spent a lot of ice runes because all my equipment for my main character is blue. So in this case, I have 182 of the dark runes. So what I'm going to do is spend them here before transforming this item to ice. If I transform it first and then spend all the runes, they will require to be ice runes. But because I have lots of this, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to fully hone it, and then I'm going to transform it into blue. Refine and make it blue as I said. Okay, so the base is ready and it already has one of the 3 attributes that we want. It has melee resistance at 9.32 base. And now we need to replace the other 2, dark damage resistance and critical hit chance, with ice damage and experience bonus. Now, let's go to ice damage and see what we can sacrifice. Obviously, I don't want to sacrifice any other pieces of equipment that I'm currently using, but I did prepare before this video. For example, this one, the Buccaneer's Cutlass, has 8.16%. However, let's bring my notepad. For the 75% that we want for this Ygdratha pendant that as I said, I calculated is at 78.1%, but 75 is good enough. We need a value that is 8.375 or higher. So when it comes to ice damage, as you can see, I have written down here from the items that I have. This is the Buccaneer Cutlass that I just showed. Let me go back to the game. Here you can see it. This is the 8.16% for the ice damage. But this is not good enough. This will bring the item down to 73% or something like that, which is not what we want. But this Elven Bow gives us 8.48%, which is what we need. A bit higher, but it's what we need. So for the ice damage, we can sacrifice this Elven Bow. And then for the experience, we can sacrifice this Royal's Longsword or the Serpentine Ouroboros. Both of them have 8.9, and these ones are too low for this one. So probably the Royal Longsword. So let's go back to the game and let's do those sacrifices. Let's go to the tavern, Gemka, Forge, Refine. We take the Ygdratha's Pendant as base, and then let's exchange those attributes. So for the first one, as I said, for the ice damage, we are going to sacrifice the Elven Bow. So let's select it. I have a few, so let's see which one is it. Not this one. Not this one. Maybe you. Experience bonus. No, this one is too low. So it's obviously the last one. Yeah, this is the one. Ice damage, 8.48%. So let's sacrifice it. Ice damage right here. Okay, and it will be a 9.53%. It's going to lower the overall quality of the item, but we don't really care about that because we're not going to use this one anyway. So let's go for it. Also, this value is now taking into consideration the honing. So maybe you want to do this before honing. I usually do it before honing, but yeah, in this case, I've made an exception. All right. That was for the ice damage and for the experience bonus. I said that I'm going to use the Royal Longsword. So let's go to Royal, and I believe this is the one. Experience bonus 8.9%. Yes, this is the one. Yes, I do. And here we are going to replace this critical hit chance with experience. Again, the overall value is going down because this is a better attribute for my build, but the value is lower. But I don't care about this value being lower because it's high enough for what I want. So let's do this. Yes. All right, and we have our item with the 3 attributes that we want: melee resistance, ice damage, and experience bonus. So let's go back to the base, make sure everything is in order. Right here, we can see all three of them. As you can see, this ice damage is a little bit lower than the ice mastery, as it was expected, but still, because it's not lower than 75%, the total amount of items we need to sacrifice remains the same, so it's not a big difference. Now, we are going to go back. Okay, I'm going to remove this. And we are going to go back because now we need to start making the sacrifices. So, first, refine. I'm going to filter by the Dragon King set because I only want these pendants. And I'm going to also filter by quality. So I put the lowest ones at the bottom. All right, so let's start with this one. This is a horrible base, is really weak, so it's an excellent candidate for sacrificing. We're going to refine, upgrade rarity, and now this is some prep work I did before starting the video. I did craft a few items just to sacrifice. So again, I'm going to put lowest quality at the top so we can pick up is it even changing anything? No. Rarity, no. Okay. And this one, yeah, okay. I was selecting the wrong one. So, this one, for example, I crafted. As you can see, it rolled pretty high primary attributes, especially for power and poison mastery, but resistance is pretty low and the secondary attributes are garbage. Very low values. But for sacrificing, is excellent. So we are going to sacrifice this one. We require one glyph, which is really the expensive part out of it. One relic, being flame tree, is almost free, and 1000 ore, which is not a small amount. The gold and the shards, I don't really care because, as you can see, I have plenty of them. But yeah, let's refine this one. Okay, and we have this Ygdratha pendant that is ready. So let's sacrifice it. And let's check that is this one. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Wait. Which one did I? No, yes, it is. It is this one. Yes. Okay. So sacrifice 50 ether because it's the same set, the same element, and the same slot, and it's going to bring our values up by 50. As you can see here, 50 points in overall quality, and by 5% of each one of them. So let's refine. Perfect. Next one. Let's, yeah. Okay, the lowest one is this. No, it isn't. Okay, I'm getting lost here, so I'm going to go back to this. And let's pick up this one. Okay, again, horrible base to start with, really low power, so excellent for sacrificing. Now with this, let's improve the rarity. And again, I'm gonna go just with this. This dwarven necklace that I also crafted. It rolled excellent power, but resistance and ice mastery are very low, and also the secondary ones are very low, so sacrifice it. Okay. Now we need to change this Ygdratha pendant to ice. Okay, and let's go back to the base. One trick that I'm using is that I selected this one as favorite, so I always know which one is the one that I want to keep. Okay, and then the other one. Just to show, again, this one is same slot, same set, and same element, so it's going to increase again by 5 points, by 5% each one of the attributes, and 50 points the overall, and it's going to cost 50 ether. If I was going to use this one that is from a different element, this one is light, as you can see, it will only increase by 20, and it will require 100 ether instead of 50. So always make sure that they have the same element. So going back to this one, yes, everything is in order, refine. Okay, that's 914, excellent. Next one to sacrifice is going to be this one. Yeah, horrible power roll. The others are okay, but the power is really, really bad. Now, another thing that you can do also to save your crystal and your what's the name? Runes, is to change the element when they are legendary. So if I change it right now before upgrading, I'm going to use a legendary rune. If I change it after upgrading, I will have to sacrifice to spend one mythical rune. So I should have done this one before, but that's okay. No, not green. No, why did I change it to green? I don't know what happened there. Maybe I double clicked. Anyway, it's blue. Okay, so let's increase the rarity. Next item that I want to sacrifice is going to be probably this night amulet. Yeah, very low power and very low speed, but maybe I can use it for something else. So let's check this Firewalker's necklace that has, yeah, pretty mediocre stats. I mean, this dark damage is pretty decent. It could be used for an assassin build, for example. Let's check this one out. And yeah, this one has very high melee resistance. Oh, come on. What about the bone pendant? Is this good to sacrifice? Not really. It's a pretty good one. So what about this one? It's going to be even better. Yeah, of course it is. All right, so yeah, I'm going to sacrifice the night amulet. Okay, 1000, perfect. Let's do this. And let's go back, select my main, refine, quality, and sacrifice this one. Let's double check. Yeah, it's a pity that it has such high critical hit chance that it rolled when upgrading, but I'm not gonna sacrifice this one to transfer an attribute. All right, again, the overall quality is going by 50, so from 914 to 964, and each one of the individual values is going up, as you can see, for each one of the attributes. Okay. And this is pretty close to maximum level. I'm gonna do one more. Which one am I going to choose? Yeah, this one. Okay, refine. Let's change the element before upgrading. Okay. And let's sacrifice, I think I said this Fireworker's necklace. Yeah, this is the one that had dark damage, and this one had very good melee resistance, so it's this one. Okay. Perfect. Yes. Okay. And let's check the base and quality and sacrifice this one. Okay, now as you can see, due to the fact that some of the attributes are hitting maximum values, for example this melee resistance, instead of increasing by 0.525, which is the reason why this is going 5.2 and this is going 5.3, the real value is 5.25, but the game's showing the way it's rounding up or down depending on the exact value. But for this one it's only 0.1% because it's almost maxed out. Also the power is going to be maxed out. The resistance is going to be maxed out as well. So we're really upgrading 3 of the attributes, the ones that were the lowest ones. And we are going from 964 to 994, so only an increase of 30 points due to this. And this is the reason why it is important when you start working on the item to check the percentage values. As you can see, the ones that were the highest ones are going to be maxed first, and the lowest one, which was the mastery in this case, is the one that is dragging it down. Now, ice damage is lower in percentage than ice mastery, but because it's still over 75%, the total amount of items that you have to sacrifice are going to be the same. All right, so as you can see, maximum melee resistance, power, resistance, and experience as well. And the two values that are not are ice mastery and ice damage. Now for the ice mastery, if we were going to sacrifice one legendary, for example, it wouldn't get to maximum level. So that's the reason why, because it was 78%, it doesn't matter that this one still requires this. But this is where I'm going to stop the video, because I don't really want to sacrifice any of the other amulets that I have right now. So, and this is, I mean, as you can see, it's pretty close to maximum. The next one is going to, the next sacrifice is going to bring it to maximum, but it's only going to be a little bit of a difference, and I want to spend my resources on upgrading the armor next. So this is where I'm going to leave this one, which, as I said, is just one item shy of being maxed out. All right, and that's it for the Ygdratha's Pendant. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and see you on the next one.